Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us.
Emisión Cero, con Ricardo Fraguas, en Radio Inter.
Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today.
Hello everyone, this is Ricardo Fraguas. As usual, it is a privilege to be with you in your program dedicated to the information and promotion of sustainability. As we always say, understood, first of all, as an act of generosity. Think about others to preserve, use and preserve our natural resources to cope with the needs of the present, of everyone's needs, without compromising that the future generations can do the same. We are very close, as usual, to the most vulnerable people, the people that are escaping from extreme poverty and extreme violence. And we are very happy today because we're joining also with a very good friend, which is in the United States. And they are facing their presidential elections, which are not only important for the United States, for the good people of the United States, but for the good people of the world. And he's John Cabanis. How are you, John?
Doing very well today, Ricardo, and it's just an absolute pleasure to be with you to talk about these important issues. And I really appreciate the work you do for peace and sustainability. So it's just great to be with you.
Thank you very much. It is our pleasure. We're going to have time to talk and to listen to your comments and your opinions about how everything is going in terms of your presidential elections. But let us say also hello to our good friend and advisor of this program in matters of research, innovation, and much more, Dr. Naval Engineer Jesus Valle. Jesus, how are you?
Well, I'm very fine. Here in Lisbon, as you know, I'm very, very happy.
Well, fantastic triangle today, Lisbon, Wisconsin, and Madrid. Let us join in this message and this feeling, very well said by John Lennon, and now in the fantastic, beautiful version of our friends of Chopin, Imagine.
I hope someday you will join us, and the world will leave us one, leave us one, leave us one.
It shouldn't be that difficult to understand, to feel that we are one human family with a common destiny, and we can live in peace and harmony. Leave us one. Let us sing it together. Leave us one. Let us believe it together. Leave us one.
Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Yeah, leave us one.
Leave us one. Leave us one.
Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one. Leave us one.
Estás escuchando Emisión Cero, el programa que impulsa el cambio positivo, con Ricardo Fraguas.
We stand at a critical moment in Earth's history, a time when humanity must choose its future. As the world becomes increasingly interdependent and fragile, the future at once holds great peril, but also great promise. To move forward, we must recognize that in the midst of a magnificent diversity of cultures and life forms, yes, we are one human family and one Earth community with a common destiny. We must join together to bring forth a sustainable global society founded on the respect for nature, the universal human rights, economic justice, and a culture of peace. Towards this end, it is imperative that we, the peoples of Earth, declare our responsibility to one another, to the greater community of life, and to future generations. These are the wise words of the Earth Charter of the United Nations that we make ours and yours here in your program, Emisión Cero, at Radio Intercontinental.
Emisión Cero, ahora en todos los dispositivos conectados.
Hello, everyone. This is Ricardo Fraguas, and what a privilege to join together once again. Now, in the beautiful language of English, we use to address and to get together to all the English speaking people around the world. In this program, dedicated to the information and promotion of sustainability, as we always said, nothing but an act of generosity. Think about others, an act of love, to preserve the wonderful natural resources we have in this miracle called planet Earth, to cope with the needs of everyone without compromising future generations to do the same. And the good news is that it is possible. We know that we have plenty for everyone, and it's just a matter of being conscious about it and take care about it. And we have the resources and the technology to do it better than ever. First of all, I'd like to introduce to you my good friend, John Cabanis. He's an attorney specialized in helping others, that is, and trying to make a better world, particularly in victims of legal malpractice and all these defective products that we received sometimes and cause personal injury and so on and so forth. Is bringing justice. John Cabanis, he's in Wisconsin. State that is very, very important, apparently always, but particularly for these presidential elections. And we welcome you, John, to talk today after the review of the good news of the United Nations about these important elections for the United States people, but for the people of the world. John, first of all, how are you? How are your beloved people during these very difficult and disoriented times?
Thank you, Ricardo. We're doing well, all things considered. We're obviously apprehensive about the upcoming elections. We're on pins and needles because of how important this election is, as you said, not just for Wisconsin, not just for our individual states, not just for our country, but for the whole world. And my lifetime, we've never had an election that is this critical. So I'm well, my family's well, my friends are well, but we're all just keeping our fingers crossed and working as hard as we can to bring about the change that we need in this country to take a step toward your ideal of us all living together as one, as opposed to being a country of those that are good and bad, or a world of good and bad. So we're doing well.
Very glad to hear. So in a minute, we're going to listen to Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, tell us once again how important it is, and now we have time and moment and circumstances to reflect about it, how important it is that we are all well. If we are all well, everything will be all right, because we need to take care of each other. And in the case of the pandemic, if there is somebody infected, that we are not well. So we need everyone to be well. And that's why, as the experts tell us, the masks are so important, although there are some people that are still, even people in important positions, like the present president of the United States, regret to believe it, but it's like that. I want to also say hello and welcome to our program, our friend and advisor of this program in terms of research, development, innovation, and much more, Dr. Naval Engineer in charge of the safety and also trying to make our sea transport, which is so important for humanity. More than 90% of the transport of goods are still made by sea, to be clean and efficient and safe. Jesus Valle from Lisbon, how are you?
Well, I'm very well. I'm here, just as you say, working for a better maritime transport, but of course very happy to see you and to be able to talk with you in this special English program that we have in EMISIÓN CERO.
Yes, for our beloved family that are only English speaking. Also, although John is trying very, very well with his Spanish, ¿verdad que sí, John? Que estás dándole al español muy bien, ¿eh?
Sí, un poco, mi amigo. Espero que mi español es mejor en futuro.
Claro que sí, pero ya va muy bien, va muy bien. It goes very, very well. And we thank you for that. And Spanish is becoming popular back again, also in the United States, which is very good news for all, that we can communicate in such beautiful languages like Spanish and English and so many others. If you all agree, today our review of the news of this common treasure that is the United Nations. And I have to say it once again, so we don't forget. The real prosperity and progress of our civilization is based in very recent achievements. Very, very recent achievements. Only 75 years ago, we came together to stop killing each other massively, as it happened last century. During the First World War and the Second World War, more than 200 million people died. And the horrible genocide of the Jews, the Holocaust, and the horrible advancement of the massive destruction weapons. We also just remember what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki very recently. And it's so difficult to agree on terms with your neighbor. That it is fantastic that we really agreed that we can live in peace and harmony, and we created the United Nations to bring peace to everyone, and also to try to get everyone also to exercise the human rights. Another very recent achievement, only 75 years ago. Also, we also agreed that we all are born equals, no matter our race, no matter our beliefs, and we all have right to have access to knowledge and education, and to have access to healthcare. Even in countries like in the United States, this is still on progress. To have a home, to have a decent a job, and to move and to express freely. Let us not forget that, and let us give all the importance the United Nations have to keep on going in this way. Don't you agree, John?
Absolutely, absolutely. And just all that the United Nations does for world health and bringing us together is so critical in this time of COVID, let alone the work that has been done, to combat AIDS and malaria and places like Africa. It's just critical that we marshal the resources of the world to collectively address these health issues, human rights issues, issues of freedom. So it's our best hope for achieving that oneness.
On the eve of the 75th United Nations General Assembly, Secretary General Antonio Guterres offers insights into the challenges facing the world and the solutions offered by multilateralism at a time of unprecedented global crisis marked by the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and other threats. The Secretary General sees opportunities to shift course away from isolationism and toward common goals. Through global solidarity, he says the world can build back better and usher in a safer, more prosperous, and more sustainable future for all. Let us listen to his words and comment on them.
The COVID is a threat, is a problem, but it is also an opportunity, because as we had to change, we can change in the right direction. As we are mobilizing massive resources to rebuild, we can rebuild in the right direction. And our blueprint must be the Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals. We need a vaccine for everybody, everywhere, in affordable conditions, because we will only be safe if everybody is safe. We need a total commitment, especially the big emitters, to all the transformational actions in energy, in agriculture, in industry, in transportation, in all areas of our life. Men must understand that it is in the interest of everybody, not only of women, to have gender equality and gender parity, because the world will be better. This very strong commitment of the young people to ideas like universal health coverage, to ideas like climate action, to ideas like more justice and equality in our societies, gender equality, fight against racism, all these aspects show a very committed young people that is the biggest hope I have in relation to our common future. We need to invest in the cohesion to make every community, indigenous communities, minorities in societies, every community to feel that their identity is respected, but that they are part of the society as a whole. Let's make sure that we have a global ceasefire. Let's make sure that we'll have a vaccine that is a global public good, a people's vaccine. And let's make sure that when we rebuild our economies, we do so to reach carbon neutrality in 2050.
These are the wise words of reason of the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres. He touched the most important issues that are part of the region, and it is in our hands to solve. First of all, is the approach of taking this pandemic also as an opportunity to grow for better, fundamental in these human rights and common interest to live in peace and harmony. How these words resonate in you, John Cabanis from Wisconsin. Now that you are immersed in the final sprint of your presidential elections, COVID pandemic as an opportunity to grow better because it is in our hands.
What really resonated with me, Ricardo, is his call for investment, the opportunity for investment. Because when you look back at the last 100 years, what's really been a positive force in the United States and in our country is its investment. It's investment in education. It's investment in immigration, opening our country to the best and brightest and the hardest working from around the world to come here and contribute to a multicultural society. And during this current presidency, there's been a total disruption and just running away from the whole idea that by investing today, we can have a better world tomorrow together. And that's what it's all about, whether it's investing in a new Green Deal, investing in education, investing in immigration, investing in a national healthcare system. It's so critical for the future of this country and the world that we change directions. So I think the United Nations is such a critical force, and Guterres just got it right.
Thank you very much, John. And investing also in how we transform our energy now that we know that we can use the natural resources without compromising them and without compromising the health of our planet. So the future looks quite bright if we want to go and step into it. Jesús Valle, how do the words of Antonio Guterres, the wise words of Antonio Guterres, resonate in you as well?
I think that we need a lot of hope after this pandemic, because as he was telling, well, we are in a strange situation nowadays, but we have a future that is also very important for us, and we have to work for the future. Don't stop due to this pandemic. There are many things to do until 2030, when we have all these objectives, and we cannot be stopped because we are in a, well, I will not say the worst situation that the humanity has been in, but it's not a comfortable situation. But we need a lot of hope and a lot of work to reach all these objectives and increase the technological advances of the humanity in order to find the solution for all these problems that we are talking every week here in this radio program. We need to be more conscious that the way that we use to obtain the energy that we are using should be more green, more clean, and these objectives can be reached if everybody is working together. And the problem at the beginning, you were talking about United Nations, and you say, well, everybody is equal to the rest. The problem is not that you are not equal. The problem is that you need that all the humanity recognize that the others are equal, and it's the same with the energy generation and energy consumption. We have the technologies, but everybody should recognize that these technologies are good for the future and invest on that technologies. Governments cannot afford the the goal to achieve a very clean society if they are not really convinced. And it's something that I have many doubts. I think that really they talk a lot, but they are not doing what they should do.
Once again, thank you very much, Jesus Valle. Once again, Antonio Guterres referred to the Sustainable Development Goals, which is basic, based our future in the universal exercise of the human rights, which is not at the moment, for everyone to be able to exercise them and also preserve our nature, transforming the energy from natural resources and stop the massive burning of fossil fuels that is killing life on planet Earth as we know it, and we have alternative. That's the basic of the Sustainable Development Goals. Three words that sometimes are difficult to understand what it means. It means the universal exercise of the human rights and preserving nature and taking advantage of the possibilities to cope with the needs of the present, but not only of a few, but of all of us. And according to scientists and all the experts, we have plenty for everyone and we can do it. And we are in the right way, but we should go faster, particularly to stop the suffering of all the vulnerable people. Sometimes we think of these anachronisms that are happening right now, in this very moment, no? Like so many millions of people still under extreme poverty, as we were. We were in Europe, and you were also in the United States not so long ago. We have to go 100 years ago, and it was like that. Most of the population was dying of hunger, escaping from extreme poverty and escaping from extreme violence in a way. But we managed to conquer this state of wealth in many, many territories. For example, the United States, for example, in Europe. But we shouldn't forget where we come from, and we managed to do that, and we are capable of doing it for everyone in the world. So there are more than 20,000 people now in Lesbos, reaching the coast of Greece, escaping from extreme poverty and escaping from extreme violence. Those refugees couldn't, the good people of the big corporations, and I mentioned it in a recent fiction article, that would be fantastic news because it is possible. Microsoft or Google or even the ones that are still making loads of money based on public money of our subsidies in the oil industry like Exxon or Repsol or Shell, say, don't worry, I will sponsor the lives of these people. I will sponsor their education. I will relocate them until they can have a decent job, which is part of exercising the human rights, and until they start their own business or even work in our corporation. Wouldn't that be fantastic? And it's not impossible. It can happen, as you mentioned, John, when you were referring to investment. We can invest also in that way, John.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as you're talking about the crisis in Greece with the refugees, I just think back to this current president and how he failed to step up to the plate with the refugees from Syria and the Middle East, with the war raging there, and really turned his back on the problem, which in turn put the problem totally in the hands of the European Union, and you've had to deal with that there as well in Germany and Spain. And it's just absolutely, unjust that America, with its resources, with its history of welcoming immigrants, that we didn't step up and help and really set the precedent and provide the cover for the Western countries around the world to help deal with this problem in a humane way, and to invest in these people who, in the future, if we make that investment, will be a positive for any country they're in.
The wise words of John Cabanis, connecting directly from Wisconsin, a state that apparently plays an important role in these important presidential elections for the United States and for the rest of the world. We are going to talk about your elections now, and even though you are already with us in the program, we want to welcome you with music, which really heat up our souls and our hearts. This is a version. They have their own music, but they make fantastic versions, and even big songs like "Imagine" at the beginning of the program, and the one we're going to listen to now, "Grow." This is a song by Stevie Wonder that we used to welcome the people we love, and we thank for everything they do, and we thank you for everything you're doing, John, and we love you. So we're going to call you to say that we love you.
Namaste.
Namaste. In the version of our friends of ShowPay, you can follow their tunes, their own music, and their versions in showpay.net. We just call to say we love you, John.
No New Year's Day to celebrate. No chocolate car, the candy hearts to give away. No festive spring, no song to sing. In fact, here's just another ordinary day. No April rain, no flowers bloom, no wedding Saturday within the month of June. But what it is something true, made up of these three words that I must say to you. I just called to say I love you. I just hope to say how much I care. I just hope to say I love you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
And I mean it from the bottom of my heart, John. We call to say we love you and to thank you for being here with us today to talk about these very important elections for the United States, the good people of the United States and the people of the world, because the United States has been and it is a lighthouse intermittent sometimes, unfortunately, but the lighthouse also for freedom and prosperity around the world. We don't forget, and I would like to know that we will never forget how your family, the people of the United States, including many black people, gave their lives to save us in Europe from the oppression of the Nazi regime. And I say, I believe, and I like to believe that we will never forget that. And only for that reason, we're so close to you and so thankful forever. In this sense, giving your lives to free others, like we still do in many places today. Thank you very much, John, for being here with us. As Showpay says, and Stevie Wonder, we love you.
And I love you, Ricardo. Thank you.
Okay, so we go on with these presidential elections. It's been such a difficult time for you, strange also. And I'm not talking about the pandemic now, but to have as the maximum representative of your country, a very controversial person. We're going to listen to him now. We would expect, as you had in the past, presidents and representatives with the right things and broad things that they have done. Perhaps many of them humble, honorable, full of empathy, respectful people, generous people as well, very well prepared. It just happened with your last president before the present one, full of wisdom, caring, and we from the world, and what happened, I guess it happens the same to you there. We don't receive that from the president you have at that moment. Let's just listen for a moment to him, and then we'll go on listen to your comments about how the last sprint of the presidential elections are going in the United States. This is Donald Trump.
Ready? You have the cameras rolling? I could be the most popular person in Europe. I could run for any office if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I had a meeting at the Pentagon with lots of generals. They were like from a movie. Better looking than Tom Cruise and stronger. You can have all the technology in the world. I'm a professional in technology. When during the campaign, I would say Mexico is going to pay for it. Obviously, I never said this and I never meant they're going to write out a check. I said they're going to pay for it. Where do these people come from? Where do they come from? They go back home to mommy. They get punished when they get home. I saw this man, tall, handsome, very charismatic, making horrible statements about wanting to destroy our country. And I'm writing a book. I think I wrote 12 books. All did very well. I just received a beautiful letter from Kim Jong-un. I can't show you the letter, obviously, but it was a very personal, very warm, very nice letter. I appreciate it. It's actually a happy birthday letter, if you want to know the truth. It was my birthday. And he sent me a beautiful letter, happy birthday, which is nice. If you tell a joke, if you're sarcastic, if you're having fun with the audience, if you're in live television with millions of people and 25,000 people in an arena, and if you say something like, Russia, please, if you can, get us Hillary Clinton's emails. Please, Russia, please. Get us the emails, please. I'm going to be signing a national emergency. It's a great thing to do because we have an invasion of drugs, invasion of gangs, invasion of people. So we're going to confront the national security crisis on our southern border. And we're going to do it one way or the other. We have to do it. Not because it was a campaign promise, which it is. They say walls don't work. Walls work 100%. The Green New Deal, right? Green New Deal. I encourage it. I think it's really something that they should promote. Darling, is the wind blowing today? I'd like to watch television, darling. And when the wind stops blowing, it doesn't make any difference, does it? Unlike those big windmills that destroy everybody's property values, kill all the birds. Sleepy Joe and Crazy Bernie. We have a young man, boot edge. Boot edge. They say edge. He's got a great chance, doesn't he? He'll be great. Crazy Elizabeth Warren, or as I affectionately call her, Pocahontas. We want Biden. We want the son, Hunter. Where's Hunter? We want the son. What's going on with Fox, by the way? What's going on there?
Kellyanne is great, but she's married to a total whack job. I think she must have done some number on him, Ainsley. I don't know what Kellyanne did to that guy.
At some point, I hope they get it.
You're going to turn it over?
No, at some point, I might. But at some point, I hope they get it because it's a fantastic financial statement. It's a fantastic financial statement. And let's do that over. He's coughing in the middle of my answer.
Yeah, okay.
I don't like that, you know?
Your chief of staff.
If you're going to cough, please leave the room.
Get a shot of, and I'll come over here.
You just can't.
Just to change the shot.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, do you want to do that a little differently then? I used to get great press until I ran for politics. I mean, I used to be the king of getting good press. And this is how I got elected, by being off script. Believe it or not, I watch my words very carefully. There are those that think I'm a very stable genius.
These are some of the pearls of Donald Trump, and we know because he said it that he's proud of it. We weren't used to this kind of a speech from top representatives in, well, and very influential top countries. It is the United States. We were used to that from some dictatorships or other not that influential, fortunately, countries. But it is what it is. As Antonio Guterres says, talking about the pandemic, that we have an opportunity to grow for better. Maybe we can learn from all this, John, and grow for better also in your country.
Boy, I hope so. In the history of America, thankfully, we've never seen this before. A president who doesn't view his job as representing all people in this country, and really, in terms of the world, being a leader of all peoples in the world. Donald Trump divides the world into what he categorizes in winners and losers. And if you're a winner, you're a good person. And if you're a loser, you're a bad person that literally deserves to be put in jail. It's really, this election is a battle for the soul of America. We, as a country, as you alluded to, there are times we've done good things in the world and times we've done bad things. And we've always had a tension in the way we view the world between politicians that think we ought to lead with force and military might and those that think we ought to lead with our values and human rights. And we've had that tension, but we've never had someone like Donald Trump that just is out to destroy all institutions and that make our world a better place, whether they're environmental institutions, whether they're alliances, whether it's the United Nations. Literally, the structure and rule of law in the United States is at issue in this election. And thankfully, I think that right now, if the election were held today, Biden would win easily if it's a fair election. And of course, with Trump, that's a big if, given his manipulation of our post office, given the fact that he's got a lackey as attorney general to do his bidding and his raising the specter of declaring martial law on election day. These are all just crazy, out of the box scenarios. So it's a real turbulent time in terms of the United States, and hoping our institutions will hold and get us through to a new direction to bring us back all as one, like you said in the theme of this show.
Don't be so sure, John. We never know what's going to happen. Even being very good people, sometimes we don't take the right decisions. But what I tell you is that in this part of the world we're a bit disoriented with you, because in a country that very recently, and it still happens, there is lots of racism, but very recently you recognize the rights of everyone, even with other color of a skin. And in less than 50 years from that, you had a president, Afro-American, black, Barack Obama. And just after that, the total opposite happened. Well, we haven't gone to, fortunately, to a nuclear war with anyone that could have happened. So apparently the system there in your country is also working, no? Even though all the power that the president has, and a person that apparently is not prepared, doesn't have empathy, doesn't love people but himself. And I mean, we went through that. I mean, with all the downs, but it wasn't that bad. So the system, in a way, and you know a lot about that because you're a lawyer. In your country, in a way, also work having this strange kind of a person that came to become a politician, the president of your country, John.
Yeah, that's true so far, and we just have to be hopeful that in this election, the support for Biden is strong enough that there will be no doubt soon after Election Day that Biden's the new president. And at that point, we really have to hope that the leaders of the Republican Party step up, go to Trump, just like Barry Goldwater and Howard Baker went to Richard Nixon during the Watergate time in the early 70s and say it's over. Quit claiming it's a hoax and quit attacking our institutions, and we're all going to stand together as Americans for this system, and we're going to uphold our pledge to the Constitution, not to you as some kind of cult leader or dictator. So the story is yet to unfold, but I've always had confidence in our institutions. I never thought I would have any uncertainty. I share your confidence that they will hold, but I never even thought we would have to entertain the possibility of this being an issue.
Well, you have your tried, and you have a president which is a populist and talks in the language of many people that many people understand in your country and in the rest of the world. It's happening the same also in Europe with the politicians that are saying that they will finish, as it happened in many dictatorships, as we know, that they will save the people and the humble people and the workers because they know how to do it, and they will finish with the elites where they are already. It's not that they are becoming, that they are already in a light themselves, but you have your tried, and we will see what do you choose. The way you do your campaigns in the United States differ a little bit from what we do here in Europe, and I learned from your wife, Julie, that you can call the people on the phone and try to make them, at least make them vote and make them think about what is good for them. Do you feel that this is working? There is a kind of awakening in this way, and particularly talking about your state, with apparently is a very important state because it will be, and it is the thermometer of what is going to happen with this election.
Yeah, I feel very confident that Wisconsinites of all color are going to come out for Joe Biden. To give you an idea, in the 2016 election, President Trump was elected by about 40,000 votes. On 2016, on Election Day in Wisconsin, there were 40,000 people who voted but did not vote for president. They went in and voted for local elections, but couldn't bring themselves to vote for Hillary Clinton or for Donald Trump. Same thing in Michigan. Trump won by 14,000 votes, and there were 40,000 people who voted but just didn't vote in the presidential election. We know from the midterms. We also know from 2012, President Obama won Wisconsin by 220,000 votes. And that was because blacks in the city turned out and voted. because they were so outraged by the way the Republicans had treated President Obama. And I have every confidence that our minority community in the city of Milwaukee are just as energized this time around because of President Trump's racism to come out and vote. So I am confident that Wisconsin will strongly go for Biden. And all the polling shows that. And the only uncertainty in the polls is whether or not your people are going to come out and actually vote. And my observation is people are motivated. Just north of where we live, it's a very Republican area. And I was bicycling through it yesterday, and I saw more Biden signs than Trump signs. And that's in a very Republican area. And it's the suburbs, and all the data is showing that suburban women have strongly rejected Trump and are ready to come out and vote against him, even those that traditionally are more on the Republican side of things.
Our democracy is deeply imperiled. How democratic norms are under threat ahead of the U.S. election. The principals of 5 major U.S. organizations all feel profound anxiety about the state of the nation under Trump as the U.S. elections inches closer. This is news headlines from The Guardian here in Europe. When you read this, you are in Lisbon, Jesus Valle, about what's happening to our brothers and sisters and what could happen with these presidential elections. What are your thoughts, Jesus?
Well, I have many different thoughts because I know that President Trump is really not the mad person who some part of the population is trying to convince us that he is. I think that is not so mad. He's well organized, and he knows very well what a part of the country is asking him to do. The problem is that when you are managing the media and you are managing many things as he's doing, sometimes you obtain a profit from things that are not really the best. I will explain with an example here in Spain that is maybe ridiculous, but is almost the same. You remember this Eurovision song contest that we have here in Europe, Eurovision, no? So all the countries send a person or a group to sing. We had several years ago a song that was the Chiqui Chiqui. You remember the Chiqui Chiqui?
Yes.
The Chiqui Chiqui was really a nonsense if you consider it as a song.
It was also a test. It was also a test, John and dear people that are joining in EMISIÓN CERO. It was also a test of the system. Something similar. Yeah, I agree with you, Jesus. What is happening in the United States with Donald Trump? To say no, it is possible to send somebody that doesn't know how to sing. And to be in this contest using the regulations of the systems. You're going through that path, Jesus?
Yes, many people thought that it was very funny. Oh, it's very funny to send someone to Eurovision that is not really a singer.
Some kind is respectable, but very funny.
Yes, but it was, well, okay, why don't we vote him? Because he's different. Let's go, let's try. At the end, it was a nonsense because it was something that was completely different. There were professional singers, and we had one actor trying to sing bad, but people liked him, and maybe this is what is happening with Trump in a different level, but. I think that many people think that he is changing the roles and he is protecting them. And I think it's not true. But the real thing is that reality is not what is happening. It's how do you perceive, it's your perception of the reality. And I don't know really why, but there are many citizens in United States that are supporting him because they think that he's protecting his interests, his situation as an United States citizen in a world that is against them, and he's taking advantage of this situation. So I think it will be really terrible if he wins again, because, well, in my opinion, it's not the way. But who knows? I have different things about this. One is the thing that I want to support, and another thing is what will happen. And maybe we will have Trump again. I'm not very sure of that, but I'm not even very sure that the citizens in the United States will hit him. I don't know.
We have a say here in Spain, John and friends of EMISIÓN CERO, which is if you play with fire, you normally get burned. We hope you stop playing, the good people of the United States playing with fire, and you don't get burned, and so we all don't get burned with another presidency of Donald Trump. To encourage this feeling, we put a bit more music before coming back to you, John. Now in the voice of Conchita, this beautiful version of the song by Miley Cyrus, The Climb. So we wish you to enjoy this climbing also of the last sprint of the elections, and to succeed in saving all obstacles.
I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My faith is shaking, but I gotta keep trying. You gotta keep my head held high. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's a climb.
Sometimes we're gonna have to lose, but we hope, we pray that this is not the time. John, please. We have 2 more minutes. Your final words of wisdom to earn the confidence of everyone.
As a good Spanish friend of mine taught me, al mal tiempo, buena cara.
John Cabanis, connecting from Wisconsin, a very important state apparently during these elections. We wish you the best. John, thank you very much for having been with us today. A few days for the election. You can vote in advance there. And your thoughts during this last minute that we have left.
Well, I would just echo the whole theme of the program. Together, there's no problem we can't solve in the world. We have the resources, we have the talent. We just need the collective love. And I think John Lennon's Imagine is just the perfect hope for the future of all of us on this planet. And thank you for the work you do. And it was a pleasure to participate today, Ricardo and Jesus.
Thank you very much, John Cabanis. All the best for you, for all the good people of the United States. And your words are really in harmony with the song we used to say goodbye in our program, which is, you all know it by now, all we need is love. If there is something else, please let us know, ¿no, John?
Sí.
Jesús Valle, muchísimas gracias por haberte unido desde la preciosa Lisboa. Abrazos para todos.
Muchísimas gracias a todos vosotros. Un abrazo muy fuerte y tened muy buena semana.
Bueno, pues all the best for everyone. John, let us concentrate in this power of love to bring for the sustainable global society for everyone this time, because it is possible. John, have a very nice day.
You too, Ricardo. And Jesus.
All the best, all the best. Al mal tiempo, buena cara.
Sí.
Hasta pronto, amigos. Have a sustainable and happy life, and hopefully we will join together next week. All the best.
There's nothing you can know that can't be known. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. Nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. Whoa, 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 whoa. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. 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 She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need.
Emisión Cero, con Ricardo Fraguas, en Radio Inter.